A sudden military move often signals that something serious is unfolding. This time, the signal came from the United States. A large amphibious warship loaded with Marines is moving toward one of the most volatile regions on Earth. The Middle East has seen decades of tension, but each new deployment carries its own message. The ship at the center of this development is the USS Tripoli. It is not a simple transport vessel. It is a floating military base designed to launch helicopters, fighter jets, and amphibious troops during combat operations. On board are around 2,500 United States Marines. That number alone tells you this mission is not symbolic. It is operational readiness. To understand the significance, start with the Marines themselves. The United States Marine Corps is structured for rapid response warfare. These units specialize in amphibious assaults, crisis response, and expeditionary combat. When they deploy aboard assault ships like the Tripoli, they form what the military calls an amphibious ready group and Marine Expeditionary Unit. This formation can launch attacks from sea to land within hours. The Tripoli belongs to the America-class amphibious assault ship family. These ships are massive. They stretch over 840 feet long and displace around 45,000 tons. They operate much like a small aircraft carrier. Instead of heavy naval jets, they carry helicopters and vertical takeoff fighters. The most notable aircraft on these ships is the F-35B Lightning II. This jet can take off from short decks and land vertically. That ability allows amphibious ships to project serious air power without needing a full carrier. Now place this deployment into the broader geopolitical situation. Tensions between the United States and Iran have simmered for decades. The rivalry intensified after incidents in the Persian Gulf, regional proxy conflicts, and attacks on shipping lanes. The region remains one of the most strategically sensitive areas in global politics because it controls critical oil transport routes. The most important of those routes is the Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow corridor. Any military confrontation in this region risks disrupting global energy markets. That reality explains why the United States often moves naval forces there when tensions rise. Deploying Marines on an amphibious assault ship serves several purposes. First is deterrence. Military strategists rely on visible force to discourage adversaries from taking aggressive actions. When a warship like the Tripoli arrives near a conflict zone, it signals readiness without immediately escalating into open combat. Second is flexibility. Amphibious forces can respond to multiple scenarios. They can conduct evacuations of civilians, protect shipping lanes, or launch precision strikes if required. Because the ship carries helicopters, drones, and fighter jets, commanders gain options that land bases alone cannot provide. Third is speed. A Marine Expeditionary Unit can deploy within hours once positioned near a coastline. Troops can land via helicopters, tilt-rotor aircraft, or amphibious landing craft. This rapid capability allows military planners to react before conflicts spiral further. From a strategic perspective, this deployment also reflects the evolving role of amphibious ships in modern warfare. Traditional naval doctrine focused on aircraft carriers as the primary projection of power. Today, smaller carriers like the Tripoli provide similar flexibility at lower cost and with faster deployment cycles. These ships also support the concept of distributed maritime operations. Instead of concentrating power in a few massive fleets, the strategy spreads combat capability across multiple ships operating in different locations. This makes the force harder to target and increases operational reach. Iran, for its part, possesses its own asymmetric military capabilities. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' Navy operates fast attack boats, drones, and anti-ship missiles designed specifically for the confined waters of the Persian Gulf. These tactics rely on speed and numbers rather than large warships. That creates a fascinating strategic contrast. On one side are advanced amphibious assault ships and stealth aircraft. On the other side are swarms of smaller vessels and missile systems designed to challenge larger navies. Military analysts often describe this as a classic case of asymmetric warfare. The presence of the Tripoli, therefore, sends two signals at once. It reassures American allies in the region that support is available. It also warns potential adversaries that escalation could bring a powerful response. History shows how quickly situations in this region can change. The Persian Gulf has witnessed tanker attacks, drone strikes, and direct confrontations between naval forces in the past. Each new deployment is meant to stabilize the situation before it reaches that stage again. Yet military deployments also carry risk. When heavily armed forces operate in close proximity, misunderstandings can occur. A misinterpreted radar signal or a fast-approaching boat can trigger defensive reactions. Naval commanders train extensively to avoid these scenarios, but the risk never drops to zero. From a broader lens, this deployment illustrates how modern geopolitics blends military readiness with strategic signaling. Ships move, aircraft deploy, and troops reposition long before any official declaration of conflict appears. Each movement sends a message across diplomatic and military channels. The Tripoli's journey to the Middle East is one of those messages. It communicates preparedness, deterrence, and the ability to act quickly if events demand it. Whether the ship ultimately launches combat missions or simply stands watch will depend on how the regional situation evolves. The world's oceans often look calm on the surface. Beneath that calm, fleets move quietly, radar systems scan the horizon, and commanders weigh decisions that could shape international stability. A single amphibious assault ship carrying thousands of Marines may appear as just another vessel at sea. In strategic terms, it is a floating instrument of national power. And when such a ship changes course toward a tense region, it usually means the next chapter of the story is still being written.